22nd, 2020. It is 9 a.m. We are the Grimes County Commissioners Court, and we are located at Grimes County Annex Building, 114 West Buffington Avenue in Anderson, Texas. I'm going to ask if everyone would please rise for our invocation. Remain standing for the pledge to the U.S. and to the Texas flag. Brother Mac, if you will be so kind to lead it this morning.
I will.
Thank you.
Let us pray. Oh, gracious God, we are so thankful for our many blessings we have here in Grimes County. The leadership that has been voted in, the many blessings that we have as we look around our county. It's so easy for us to focus on the negative, God, but there's so many positives that we have in our county. God, we continue to ask for a special blessing upon those who are first responders, those who bless us with protection day in and day out. We ask a special blessing upon those who lead us, God. We ask a special blessing upon those who protect us day in and day out. God, we thank you for this county. We thank you that we've had the blessing of arising this morning and greeting a new day. God, just be with us as we continue to lead the county this day. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Would you be seated, please? Commissioner Dobianski, we are moving into public comments. I want to recognize you for public comment, sir.
Yes, this weekend we're having the Grimes County Area Go Texan Cook-Off at the fairgrounds, the 25th, Friday the 25th, 26th, Friday the 24th, Saturday the 25th, and 26th Sunday for the judging. All the money that we raise out there go back to the kids in the county. Last year we gave out, I think, close to $50,000 with the $20,000 scholarship we got from Houston. And we do give money back to the fairgrounds out there in different projects and so forth. Everything that we make goes either into the graduating seniors from the county or out at the fairgrounds. So please come out and support that. Second announcement that I have, the bail bond board meeting that's been scheduled for tomorrow has been canceled and moved to Monday, and you all will get an agenda in the next day or so for that meeting. I know several of you who will be in attendance to that are here, so that's been changed to Monday.
Okay. Anything else, sir?
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other comments, commissioners? Miss Mary, no sheets were turned into you other than Commissioner Dobianski? That's the one I have.
Oh, okay, that's the only one, sir.
Okay, I do have I want to take the moment. I received, and commissioners, I believe each of you received a copy of the letter from the Grimes County Child Welfare Board. I'd like to quickly read it. It says, dated January 7th, 2020, to the Grimes County Judge Joe Fouth, County Commissioners, Janice Trant, County Treasurer. The Grimes County Child Welfare Board wishes to thank the Commissioners Court, County Judge, and County Treasurer for the generous budget amount of $20,000 that has been allotted to the organization this year. With so many demands for money for multiple services and projects, this county has once again recognized the importance of helping to provide for our most valuable population, the abused and neglected children of Grimes County. Without your generosity, the board will not be able to support the efforts to protect and nurture our children. Once identified by state child protection services, we work closely with that organization to help supplement the needs of our Grimes County children. In the past year, our children and their care providers were assisted by helping to meet basic needs such as emergency protective shelter, food, medication, and medical care, clothing, and Christmas gifts. We are a small county, but unfortunately, our needs are great. Without your compassion and generosity, many of our children would be denied some of the simple things they need. Again, we wish to thank you for recognizing and helping our children at risk. And this is the Grimes County Child Welfare Board. I'd like to flip that around and thank the members of that board for the work that y'all do, for taking care of those kiddos that they don't have the basic necessities to enjoy life day to day. So thank y'all, those of you that participate. Thank you very much. Okay. With that, we will now move to consent agenda items number 3, number 4, and number 5. Consider and take action to approve the treasurer's list of claims and bills. 4, consider and take action to approve payroll. 5, approve monthly report submitted by the county treasurer for December 2019 and authorized advertisement of affidavit of same in accordance with local government code 114.026. See page 5 of this agenda.
If there are no questions or comments, I move to approve consent agenda items 3, 4, and 5.
Second.
There's a motion before the court to approve consent agenda items number 3, 4, and 5 by Commissioner Mallett, second by Commissioner Dobianski. Is there further conversation? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We'll go to agenda item number 6. Consider and recognize the following employees for their years of service. Commissioner David Dobianski, 5 years. Judge Lester Underwood, 5 years. Constable Dale Sharper, 15 years. And County Attorney John C. Foltz, 15 years. So normally our Commissioner Dobianski has the honor of doing this, but since he's a recipient, I didn't want him given to himself, so I'm going to ask you to join me in front. Plus this way I get to be in all the pictures. Right, Connie? Cool. I don't have to photobomb him. Commissioner Dobianski, I proudly present you with your 5-year service to work for Grimes County. Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then the second one I said was
Judge Underwood.
Judge Underwood.
All right.
Good morning. Good morning, Judge. Congratulations on your serving this county as our Justice of the Peace, Precinct 2, your 5-year award. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Oh, all right. One more handshake. Here we go.
You or I, one must have both the cameras.
It was you. Constable Dale Sharper. I'm going to unpackage this so
All right.
you can see. I'm not going to take it out of the box, but it's a blue crystal, and it says, or blue back crystal, years of service presented to Dale Sharper in appreciation for 15 years of service committed to Grimes County. Your hard work and years of service is greatly appreciated. 1/1/2005. Don't do that, do we? I'll give it back to Commissioner Dobianski. Oh, sure. You bet. Let me give you the cover for that. All right. One more. Do you have a speech prepared, sir? Keep this moving.
Few words.
For years of service presented to John Foltz in appreciation for 15 years of service committed to Grimes County. Your hard work and years of service is greatly appreciated. 1/1/2005.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
You bet.
Thank you.
Can I get
I think
one?
she wants to get one.
8 by 10 glosses will be available after Commissioner's Court today. Will you autograph those, sir? You bet.
Give that to him.
Counselor, you want your protective cover?
Sure.
Okay. Sometimes we get to do fun stuff, and that was fun stuff. So, moving right along to agenda item number 7, Commissioner Dobianski, Precinct 2, discuss and approve designee for County Court at Law Representative on Bail Bond Board.
Thank you, Judge. Judge Fowles and I attended the bail bonds course last December and learned some things that we need to do in the county, some new laws that have been changed. And we're planning to have our first board meeting tomorrow, but it's been moved to Monday. One of the things we have to do is approve the designee from the County Court of Law, and that's going to be Laura Zaragoza. I've already talked to Judge McLean, and he's going to designate her if he's not available to attend the meeting for him, and she will be able to represent the County Court of Law in that meeting. So at this time, I would like to approve Laura Zaragoza as a designee for the County Court of Law representative on the bail bond board in Grimes County.
Okay. There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 7 by Commissioner Dobianski to appoint Laura Zaragoza as the designee for the bail bond board out of County Court of Law, seconded by Commissioner Walker. Commissioners, is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Agenda item number 8, Texas A&M AgriLife County Extension Agent Alan Holman interpretation event. So you're going to do this in Chinese or Russian, and we're going to interpret it?
They are.
They are. Okay, awesome.
I don't know Chinese. It'd be real short if it's going to be in Chinese.
That's the plan.
Thank you.
We printed a few extras because sometimes y'all say maybe we want to look at it too, so we got some extras. Y'all can take those and pass them around. Now I don't have my cheat sheet, so I'm going to shoot from the hip. So this is our first of 4 interpretation events for 2020. We did this in 2019. We thought it went really well. We just want to hit on stuff we're doing in the community, kind of justifying why we're doing our jobs and why y'all are letting us stick around and keep working. So we'll start with Ag and Natural Resources. Our Beef and Forage Committee is still going strong. They have met twice in December and in January. We planned our CEU event that you may have heard about, or if you drove by the auction barn on January 9th, there was tons of cars out there. It wasn't a sale, it was a big CEU event. We had a really good turnout. We had 62 farmers and ranchers show up to that. We made, for the Beef and Forage Committee, they made for their account, they made essentially a little over $3,000 for that, which allows them to buy things to do more programs. So that's going to be really good for them. They pretty much planned the whole thing. I just kind of stood back and said, good job. Because, I mean, they did everything. So they're big supporters in this county on that. In terms of the program went really well. We had speakers from Texas A&M AgriLife come out and talk on laws and regulations. We always say you got to follow the rules to spray the chemicals. We also had sprayer calibration demonstrations out in the parking lot, so we taught them. It was a really great day to do that because it was really windy. So we were able to fill up the sprayer and show them what happens when the wind's blowing and you spray, that you don't actually hit your chemicals, you hit the neighbors. So that worked really well. We did a feral hog talk, which was much needed. Feral hogs are a problem. We also had weed identification, some of the common weeds that are in Grimes County, how to control those weeds. So overall, it was a really good program. We had vendors come out there, United Ag and Turf, WC Tractor, producers, all those came out and served as vendors and talked with those farmers and ranchers and kind of gave them insight on what's going on in their ag businesses. We also had Ag Workers Insurance sponsor our breakfast and lunch, which allowed us to make a profit essentially off the program. So really good turnout, had a lot of fun. Other things we've kind of been doing on ag is I'm going around giving talks essentially at programs for pasture management. So I did that in Lee County for one of their CEU programs. I served as a speaker and they said I did a good job, so I guess that's good to know that. Other things, this time of year, we're going around looking at people's pastures, taking soil tests, throwing out ag lime, getting ready for spring and summer to put out fertilizer. So that's kind of where we're at with our producers right now. The last thing I'll hit on for ag is our South Central Texas Cow-Calf Clinic. Last time we did an interpretation event, we told y'all that we were going to be grilling with those kids, teaching them how to grill steaks. We didn't burn anything down. It was a very good, successful deal. We have added a scholarship to that cow-calf clinic. In the first year, in 2019, we were able to award 10 recipients each a $1,000 scholarship. So that was a very good start to that scholarship program. That will be starting again in March. We'll be selling tickets for them again. We look to grow that account. We've got money in there now that we can probably award $2,500 scholarships to 10 recipients. So we're glad to see that account growing. That's been a really big success that me, along with Kara Matheny in Washington County, have kind of been the lead on that, with some other agents helping develop that application and get that ball rolling. So that's kind of where we're at on ag right now. I'm going to turn it over to our new FCH agent, Miss Kyla Gladson. She's got us actually on schedule. We're not behind like we always. She just come in, hit the ground running.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As Alan said, I have officially finished my First Step program in Brazos County. Sorry about my voice, I'm a little sick right now. On January 10th, and so I'm officially in Grimes County for good. Kind of some of my plans over the next couple months is to get out in the community, introduce myself, meet with some of the people at the hospital, the high schools, child care facilities, get my ideas out there for some programs to work with everybody in the community. Kind of develop my FCH committee, get some people going to help me out, and basically get some programs put into place. So that's kind of where I'm at right now in Grimes County, with kind of moving forward with my FCH. I have also taken the role of the 4-H coordinator in the county. So I'm kind of heading up all of our 4-H events. Our 4-H county council has met for the first time in the 2020 year. This is actually their third meeting of the 4-H year. We're about halfway through that by now. We had 16 4-Hers attend the meeting. During the meeting, the council talked about some of our county events coming up, our county roundup, our record book judging. We've got some really cool fundraisers coming up to raise some money for the 4-H seniors, as well as our county council chairman, Ms. China Williams. She talked about our district events. We've got a lot of those coming up, such as our photography rifle judging contest, as well as our Big Time in D9 contest coming up. So that's a little bit with what's going on in the county council. We also, some events that we've got coming up is our county roundup that takes place February 28th and 29th. This is where the 4-Hers have to compete to be able to compete at the district level. All of us here have come up with a list of events that the kids can choose from, and from there they have to present their food show, their photography, to where they can compete and move on to district. Next, we've got some fundraisers coming up. I'm going to pass these around. We have a crawfish boil coming up on April 4th. And so this is our first fundraiser. For our book fund, we're going to, all proceeds are going to go to our 4-H seniors. So it's all you can eat crawfish from 12 to 7 on April 4th at the Navasota High School. Tickets are being sold right now through the 4-H program. So if y'all are interested, y'all can come by our office, or if y'all know a 4-Her, they should definitely have some tickets.
What's the price of the tickets?
$10 a ticket.
$10 a ticket?
Yes.
All you can eat?
All you can eat. So 12 to 7.
This is Grimes County. You understand that?
So we did it 12 to 7. That way, if some people wanted to come have it for lunch, or if they couldn't make lunch, they could have it for dinner, or just come hang out. We're going to have games, music, some desserts. We're hoping to make this a really fun event, bring in the whole community, the whole county, get them involved. So we really think it's going to be a great thing, and everything will go to our 4-H seniors into a book fund.
which is something we award back to them. There's an application process that they have to fill out and meet some requirements to be able to apply for this book fund award. Next, we have our second fundraiser for the book fund. It will be a drawing, a raffle, and that will take place August 2nd at our 4-H Awards banquet. So we're going to start selling tickets around March 15th through July 31st. And during the raffle, all of the 4-H clubs are being asked to donate a big ticket item in a value of $200 or more for this raffle. So everything will benefit them. But that is all I have that's going on in 4-H right now. I do have more flyers that I will let y'all pass around if whoever's interested. And so that's all I've got. I'll turn it over to Miss Carla.
All right, thank you.
Let's say one for the bulletin board out here.
We already got one on there.
Good, thank you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
So what I've been doing this past month, we actually had a child passenger safety event at the Navasota Head Start where we did car seat inspections. We actually had 19 child safety seat inspections and we only needed 15 new seats issued. And with that, it estimated around $36,000 for the car seats. And also, I did a parenting class at Head Start. Then had a food show and food challenge workshop, which helped the 4-Hers prepare for the upcoming county roundup. And then I had some healthy education classes, and this class was hypertension. I also have a diabetes and a cancer prevention class coming up in the following months. And also for my upcoming events, I have the Grimes County Fitness Station, so at my office. So if you or anybody you know need car seats, they're at my office. Just contact me. We can make an appointment. And then coming up in February, I'll be doing the volunteer income tax assistance, and that's to help anyone in Grimes County with their taxes. It's free of charge, and it's for people who make under $56,000. As soon as my supervisor give me the information, I'll bring flyers here. And then also, I have a program coming at Brule Elementary. It's for the whole school, so that'll be coming up also in February. And then, that's about it for right now. Yeah, for right now, that's it.
Sounds good, thank you.
Thank you.
And so that's income tax assistance.
Right, so I'll make appointments with me, and they come to my office, and I actually prepare their taxes for free. But it has to be under $56,000.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Does the assistance stop if they owe?
If they owe, no, I just have to tell them, I have to owe the government.
Just wondering how far the assistance was gonna go there.
Thank you.
But as you can see, the ladies keep us busy there at the
That's
office.
great.
So
Thank you.
they got us working hard. I meant to pass y'all out that's my agriculture newsletter. We put that out bi-monthly. That goes out to right now over 200 producers in Grimes County and a few surrounding counties gotta get it too. If y'all would like a copy of that, just shoot me an email. My email is on the Grimes County Extension website if you want to be a part of that. What it is basically just agriculture updates, what you should be doing this time of year. If you've got to pasture cows, whatever the case may be, that kind of stuff. And then upcoming events are in there. So that's all we have. I know they're itching to get to work, so we're gonna go get to work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All three of
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much. We will now go to agenda item number 9. Grimes County IT Director Greg Cannon, consider and take action to approve list of copiers for auction. Mr. Cannon.
Good morning, Commissioner Judge. My name is Greg Kent. I'm the Director of IT for Grimes County. We have 4 copiers that are up, that I'd like to put up for auction. These are copiers that were replaced at this last budget process. We replaced these copiers with units from Ubio, Ricoh copiers. Most of these units in here, I know at least 3 of them are 9 years old or older, and they were starting to experience problems, as well as we were able to replace units that replaced 2 printers. For instance, in the voter's office, we've got a copier now that can not only do the printing for the office, but it replaced their voter registration card printer as well. So
Oh, cool.
we're able to reduce the cost of that unit as well. Any questions about these copies?
I noticed on this list that you gave us this morning that one of the copiers, as far as the condition, is listed as drive white. does that apply to all of them? I mean, you cleaned
Yeah.
up all, okay.
This particular one, on certain models, when you wipe the drive, the unit becomes completely factory reset, which means if somebody were to purchase this at auction, they've got to contact Rico or Chief to have a technician come out and reload the copy software. It's completely empty, so. But yes, to answer your question, all the user data has been wiped from the drive. There's functions in the printer. We went to the maintenance manual. It tells you how to run a wipe, kind of like what Hillary did to her server.
Oops.
Well, Commissioner, you asked.
What?
It's all on you, buddy.
We're not wiping anything we shouldn't be wiping. I don't think.
What auction will it be? Who will do the auction for us?
What's the name of the company? Yeah,
GovDeals.
GovDeals.com. Yeah, Al's been helping me out.
We don't put a recommended bid price or reserve or anything like that, or do we?
We can. They, Simon, the gentleman at GovDeals.com, Al says he's real good. He does this for lots of counties. He knows what it'll sell for and what it won't, to sell it as individual or sell it as a lot. So we're trusting his judgment. We've looked at some of the prices. I was telling Mary Nichols that even these units, if they were in full, complete working order, refurbished, low copies, they sell for so cheap on the internet now. I think one of these units might, if in great working condition and ready to go, might sell for 300, maybe.
Okay.
So,
Judge, if there's no other questions, I'll make a motion. I move that we approve the list of copiers for auction as provided by the IT department and the proceeds be returned to the IT budget.
That's it.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 9 by Commissioner Cox, seconded by Commissioner Walker. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Sure, absolutely. The next item on the agenda, number 10, annual update on Grimes County Historical Commission, Mr. Al Peeler. And also, well, we'll do them one at a time if you'll do number 10 first.
Morning, Commissioners, Judge. I'm Al Peeler. I'm the Grimes County Historical Commission Chairman. I'm here as the chairman to give the annual report. We have 27 total members, with 15 members new this year. The commission has 10 committees, of which 7 committees are new this year. We feel that provides quicker responses for the citizens of Grimes County. Since September, we have designed a logo for GCHC. We have designed a social media platform to provide educational, engaging posts on artifacts and history, with some weeks climbing as high as 80% interaction. We're now in the middle of our archives committee retrieving all the artifacts that Grimes County owns that's been stored in citizens' garages, storage facilities. We would like to get them back and prepare for hopefully what we have as a museum coming. Recently we formed a historical school committee. We'll seek out information on schools of the yesteryears, the location, the history, who served, who went there, and who was the teachers. That's all important facts for Grimes County. We also are doing some housekeeping on the bylaws with the bylaws committee so that our commission stays streamlined. The commission is sending 10 people to the Real Places Conference for educational purpose. Some of these committees that we have made new this year, they will have breakout sessions at this conference designed for their committees. As of right now, we have 21,307 $1,004.77 in investment, gaining 1.9% interest, and $8,921.86 in our account. Our goal is to get GCHC in the public's eyes so we can be the professors of history in Grimes County. We have some events we are in the planning stages for 2020. Our next event is on Tuesday, February 18th. It is called Grimes County, A Journey in Time. Wendy Watrous and Fred Baldwin, renowned international photojournalists, will return to Grimes County, where nearly 5 decades ago, in the early 1970s, they first came to the area to photograph local families and events that thrust them into world-known prominence. Wendy and Fred will show a PowerPoint composite photo exhibit entitled Grimes County, A Journey in Time. The pair's time in Grimes County extended into the 80s. They are eager to welcome and meet many of their long-known Grimes County citizens. There's a free event that the general public is invited to at 7 p.m. Tuesday, February 18th at the Navasota Civic Center, hosted by Two Rivers Heritage Foundation and the Grimes County Historical Commission. That would be that. Any questions?
Didn't their photography deal have a lot to do with Black America history?
They're world renowned on their Black history in Grimes County. That's what propelled them into. They lived down on Rice University. That's what propelled them into that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the photographs that are aligned the hallway on the second floor of the main courthouse, those are from these folks, correct?
Those are all from Fred and Wendy.
Okay.
And also at the Navasota Annex.
The Navasota, oh, okay. I didn't pay attention then.
Fred also fought in the Chosin Reservoir.
Thank you.
As a Marine.
If you,
Just say.
Al,
Just saying.
if you will get the education committee, somebody from them to contact me. I know some individuals that attended some of these schools that you're talking about, like Klein School, at the Klein St. Mary's Church. There was a school there, and then there was another school at a place called Red Star, right there at 2445 in 1774. There was a school there.
Okay.
And those people are fairly in age, so we need to get that information. If
Margaret Bailey is our committee chairman.
Asked her to get with me, and
I will.
I will give her the names of some of those individuals that I know that have some information on that before we lose it.
I will do that, Commissioner.
Thank you for your update. Would you let us move to agenda item number 11, update on Grimes County Courthouse construction?
Sure. Switching modes. I'm Al Peeler, the maintenance manager. Regarding the project, the Hurricane Harvey project, we'll run down this real quick. Mason cleaning is 100% done. Masonry North is 90% done. Masonry East is 90% done. Masonry South is 8% done. Masonry West is 32% done. The completed masonry is 64%. That's repointing. Roof tower repairs is 0. Roof tower flattening repairs 0. Roof gutters and downspouts 0. Roof cornices and flashing is 12%. Roof chimney repairs is 0. Roof waterproof coating is 0. Roof complete is 2%. Window sashes 37%. Window weather stripping 34%. Window wood repairs 82%. Window sill repairs 41%. Window replacement 0. Door threshold 0. Window glazing 35%. Window hardware 30%. Window and door complete overall is 33%. Paint cornice is 0. Parge coat seals are 0. Parge coated additional is 4%. Paint doors are 0. Paint lintels are 0. Paint windows 32. Paint plaster is 0. Paint security bars 0. Paint gutters 0. Paint louver 0. Paint downspout 0. PMMA coating 0. Paint complete is 3%. With one rain day happening, we're still on schedule to complete the project with contract date June 8th.
What is the most critical item on that list of items that you've read? What is the most critical item for them to take care of? And the reason I ask that question is not trying to set you up, but a lot of the issues that we're dealing with are water damage and things of that sort, and roof repair is 0.
Roof is our, if I had to list it, roof would be probably my most critical, but masonry is a real close second. Because we sit on a hill, we get a lot of wind-driven rain on the hill. So masonry repointing it's real. I mean, roofing in one is one, but the masonry point is really right there with it. Some of the reason why the roof is 0 is because we have been waiting on some material to come in. Cat down at Environmental found us a whole pallet of roof shingles for the courthouse, which helped us immensely.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any other questions for Mr. Peeler? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go to agenda item number 12, Grimes County Treasurer Janice Trent. Consider and approve the standard mileage rates listed below as issued by the Internal Revenue Service for 2020. Beginning on January 1, 20, do you want to present or do you want me to just? Okay. Beginning, I get tired of hearing me sometimes. Beginning on January 1, 2020, the standard mileage rates for the use of a car, also vans, pickups, or panel trucks, will be 57.5 cents per mile, business mile driven. That's down a half a cent from the rate in 2019. The second change would be 17 cents per mile driven for medical or moving purposes, down 3 cents from the rate in 2019. And the third and final point is 14 cents per mile driven in service of charitable organizations. So this has just come down from the IRS.
And they didn't release it till January, and I would need to get it on the agenda any sooner. So I'd like this effective this Commissioner's Court date, because there's some mileage turned in that was already paid at 58 cents.
Okay. So is there, Madam Auditor, is there an issue of money's already paid?
We're looking at a half a cent a mile.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
So if we leave it at 58 cents and somebody's been paid, it's not going to break the bank?
Right.
Okay.
It would cost us more to go back and figure out.
Okay. So your recommendation, Madam Treasurer, is to make the effective date today's date?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If the court please.
All right.
I move to approve the standard mileage rates listed below as presented for the Internal Revenue Service for 2020.
Second.
Effective today.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 12 by Commissioner Mallett, seconded by Commissioner Dobianski, with the effective date of 1/22/20. Commissioners, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item number 13, Grimes County District Attorney Andrea Bender. Review and take action to adjust grant employee salary to commensurate level. Mr. Wren?
Morning.
Morning.
I'm Investigator Wren, John Wren. I work at the District Attorney's Office, and I'm representing Ms. Bender this morning related to this agenda item on adjusting one of our grant employee salaries. The grant employee in question is Gilberta Diaz. She is our crime victims liaison. She's one of the two people on the same grant. I am the other person. Back in August or September of last year, well, to give a little bit of history, our grant cycle runs in 2-year increments, and we are currently about 3/4 of the way through it. It will end in September. The grant renewal process we just started. It has to be filed next month, and they've now changed it to a 1-year period. So starting in October, it'll be year to year. At the time that the grant process was done 2 years ago, Gilberta's salary was set, and that's the top number where it says current hourly. And at the time, she was making slightly more than most of the clerks in our office. In the time since then, this last year when we did a office realignment, all of our clerical staff, with the exception of Gilberta, and she's not truly a clerk, but she's lumped into that group, got raises, and now she is more than $1 behind everyone else. In the last couple of weeks, Gilberta came in and talked to Miss Bender and Brenda Williams, who's our crime victims coordinator, and expressed to us that the bottom line was she was not going to be able to continue to stay here making this amount of money. She has a 4-year degree from A&M. She's bilingual. She has other options available to her, and she told us she didn't want to go, but the bottom line was she needed to do what was right for her family. And we had a long discussion about what it was going to take for her as far as her taking care of her family and her financial needs to get her to where she would stay. And we arrived at the raise that is proposed. We obviously are in the middle of a budget cycle, and her salary situation is more convoluted than most because of being on a grant. It's not just as simple as coming to court and asking y'all for the money. So what we are going to do, and decided that we would do, is we are asking for the proposed salary that's on here, the one in yellow. That's what we're going to ask for her to be set at by the grant in October. And we have every anticipation that that will go through. But that left us from January to September that we needed to figure out. So what we came up with doing is our office is going to just give the county the money out of asset forfeiture, which is the figure at the bottom, and cover her raise for January, this current pay cycle, which started Monday, through the end of September, and then presumably the new grant would then pick it up starting in October. And she has assured us that if she is given this raise, that she is going to stop job hunting, which is very much what we want, because she is a great employee. She's been with us now 3 or 4 years. It speaks volumes to the fact that her heart is in service and her heart is in what she's doing. Being a 4-year educated A&M graduate that's bilingual and grew up in this community, she could go get a job making more even than this proposed figure, but she wants to do this job. She ultimately would like to. It's when Brenda retires, I think it's our hope that she replaces Brenda at whatever juncture Brenda decides to retire. But anyway, that's the long and the short of it, and I'll answer whatever questions y'all have.
So you're not actually asking for more money to be spent in your department, in the DA's department? You just want to juggle funds that you currently have available?
No, sir. We're actually going to, the boss is going to actually write a check out of asset forfeiture and give the money to the county to cover this raise.
Okay, so where does the money for asset forfeiture normally go to?
The district attorney has the option to use the money for training. They can use it for stuff like this. They can use it to buy equipment. It's money that comes from the seizure of like drug funds and stuff like that, illegal activity where money is being made and the proceeds are seized. It's typically not, it's not commonly used for salaries on a perpetual basis because of the nature of it. It's not money that you can count on every year. So it's not a situation where you want to budget it as though it's going to be forever, because you can't count on it being there forever. But for a situation like this where we're talking about kind of filling a gap for 9 months so we can save a good employee, that's something that we can do.
So bottom line, you're looking at $2,510.57.
Yes, sir.
John, does that include the load?
Yes, ma'am. I got Jessica Murphy to help me with it.
Judge, if I-
Sure, go ahead.
And in October, you said the grant, you're making an application with the grant to cover the increase
Correct.
for the upcoming year.
Correct. We are going to ask that she be set at that proposed number effective October the 1st. And with everyone else in our office having gotten a raise, when we present the grant, it will be very easy to explain to them that she went from basically being the highest paid to the lowest paid, that salaries have changed within our office, and we need to compensate her in fairness to the other people she's working with and what she does.
These grants are on a 2-year cycle, did I hear you
They
say?
have been, but we actually were just notified here in the last month or so that they have changed it for some reason having to do with federal stuff too. It's now looking like it's gonna become an every year thing. So when it's approved this year, it'll be approved for 1 year, and we'll be back in the process from year to year.
Not to sidetrack, but your situation, is that your grant situation, will that go to an annual also?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It's all a package deal. It's not separate.
Commissioner Cox?
Yes, sir. The county spends a boatload of money prosecuting and preserving the rights of criminals, and this money is being requested to actually be funneled to the person that has direct contact with the victims, which is hugely important. In a lot of cases, the victim advocate is the only person that's there to advocate for a victim. I appreciate the fact that it's not coming out of county funds right now. I understand that, and that's a good thing. But even if it were, I would still be in support of spending the money to support the services that are provided for the victims of some of the crimes that are committed. That's just my comment on it.
Okay, thank you. If the, and Mr. Foltz and Ms. Nichols, if the ADA has the ability to direct those funds as she sees fit, is this something that we actually really need to approve, and is this more of just a courtesy to the court of what's happening, or would it be the recommendation to go ahead and take action and approve this?
You would need to approve it because we're gonna have to do a change of status form on her. The treasurer has to know where the money needs to be receipted in and put in, so yeah.
Okay. Then with that, is there a motion?
I move that we approve the grant employee salary commensurate to the level that John suggested.
Can I ask for one clarification?
Not yet.
Oh, sorry.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 13 by Commissioner Dobianski, seconded by Commissioner Cox. Is there further discussion?
I was just going to ask if I could clarify that it's effective this pay cycle, because we're 3 days in and we would like to just have one pay rate for this, for Monday for the rest of this.
That's it.
Status change.
Yeah, and just do it effective Monday. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr.
Thank y'all for your time.
Would you get that paperwork in process, get it taken care of?
I'll have it today.
Thank you. Agenda item number 14, Grimes County Elections Administrator Lucy Ibarra. Consider and approve primary contract / joint resolution for the 2020 primary election to be held on March 3rd, 2020 between Grimes County Democratic and Republican parties. See attachment number 14.
morning.
Morning.
Okay, so, not a very long discussion. With the help of Mr. Folt's office, we did make a couple of amendments just to the general contract that we normally use. It's downloaded from the state just to add some amendments. Both party chairs have looked at it and reviewed it with the Republican Party Chair Susan Patrick in the crowd today. We don't have any other additions unless you guys have further discussion for it. The signatures required will be on the first page, and then our party chairs will sign.
And so the blanks here.
Yes, those will be completed once we kind of get everything. We originally had the dates filled in, but we had to postpone it due to some changes that we had to make. So.
Okay.
And then we do have, so the changes that we had, some additional attachments would be both costs, staff lists, the letters going out, and those will be included in any contracts from now on, just so we have it on record, anything that the party chairs or any entities, city and schools, anything like that, in their contracts that they approve, from now on, they'll always be included. Which is why we have it.
Did you get a petition, or did the party chairmen make a decision to add to early voting?
The Sunday date?
Yes, ma'am.
As of today, no, not yet. We
Okay.
have had that discussion, but we didn't have a petition yet.
Okay. And is that something that is required to have a petition in order
Yes.
to be done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it can't be the request of a party chair?
No, sir. We did reach out to Secretary of State, and they did confirm that, yes.
Okay, all right. Because I know we had, in, not the last election, but in the recent election, we had the petition requesting that, and I remember the court voted a 4-1 because I opposed it.
Yes, sir.
But with the turnout, then I thought it turned out to be a good thing, so.
Yes.
But as of now, we don't have that.
No, sir. We
And
do
that's not in this contract, okay.
No, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda item number 14 as presented by our elections administrator.
Second.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 14 by County Judge Joe Faust, seconded by Commissioner Mallett. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. You only need one contract signed, is
Right,
that?
the one in the red folder, please. Your
Everybody
red
have
folder.
one? Oh,
My bad,
mine?
your red folder.
All right.
Sure you're not color coordinated for this?
And today's date?
Yes, please.
Okay. Pass that down. I'll let you grab that down there.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Thank you very much.
We'll go to agenda item number 15, County Auditor Mary Nichols. Discuss and take action to create a temp slash seasonal line has been asked to be tabled. That being the case, we'll go to agenda item number 16, Road and Bridge Engineer Perry Walker. 16, 17, 18, and 19, so what's the report?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
First item we've got is revisit the action on the sale of the old Iowa barn site. As you may recall, last time, we decided to reject the offers of exchange for the property. After discussing the situation further with the county attorney, we're asking you to authorize us to go out for a sale, a direct sale on the property. and take advantage of the provisions in the state statutes that allow us to do so without having to re-advertise the property. Since it's a small piece that can't be used independently, it would be offered only to the neighboring property owners. We did set this up, if you choose to convene an executive session, that's available.
And I would also point out that it's a political subdivision. Wixon Creek SUD permits the sale for less than market value, and that's what's proposed. They have to provide a benefit to your constituents, which they do.
Do any of the commissioners request this to go to executive session for discussion? Okay. As you said, we've previously discussed this.
And I'd point out, if I can, there's some title concerns, and it's a very small piece of property, so the value of it is questionable or marginal, and to have somebody make an offer for it because they can use whatever title or whatever ownership we may have, they can use that for their benefit, being adjacent to that site, and their use of it for providing water to your constituents is a benefit to the same folks that you serve. And it's not intended, as I understand it, to be a donation. It's a sale, but it's along the lines of the offer that was previously made.
Correct.
But a donation would be permitted.
And how large is the property again?
It's about 3,500 square feet.
And they now have a, is there storage tank on this site?
No, it's on the adjacent property. They abut us on the west side. Because the property is so small, it's not suited to be developed independently. There's not space for a proper septic system. So it would have to be incorporated into one of the adjacent properties to be used.
Commissioner Mallon, it's up in your precinct. I'm gonna throw the ball in your court for a minute. Are you okay with this?
Yes, sir.
Would you care to make a motion?
I move to approve the sale of the old Iola barn site to Wixon Creek SUD for a credit voucher of $5,000 for the purchase of for the future water purchases.
Second. There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 16 by Commissioner Mallett, seconded by Commissioner Dobianski. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 17, consideration and possible approval of plat for Layson subdivision.
This is a small subdivision at the intersection of County Road 127 and 128 in the Iola area. Only consists of 2 lots, 2.5 and 3 acres. We have been through, reviewed the plat, recommending that we approve as submitted.
So we have subdivisions this small, 2 lots.
If you're dividing even only 2 parcels, if neither one of them is greater than 5 acres, you're required to plat it.
And you'll recall that's because the model subdivision rules say that if you do a subdivision and end up with more than 1 lot of less than 5 acres, then they apply. You have the ability to change that if you so desire, but that continues to be the rule. Those are the rules.
And the subdivision name will be Layson, and this is out of the Happy House LLC?
It's Happy Homes.
Happy
Houses
Happy
is the
House.
developer. They've done some other small subdivisions like this in the county previously. We're actually getting a fair number of these types of very small subdivisions that are coming in these days.
And it abuts Kinsey subdivision?
This is, the Kinsey subdivision that was done previously, is the adjacent property to the west. And we also have houses.
Are the homeowners living there happy? Is the developer living up to his name, or name?
We don't enforce truth in advertising laws.
Happy for the moment houses out there.
I will point out one thing that we are doing on these types of plats, is we're having them go ahead and dedicate the full road right of way, where they have frontage that's, on an unspecified road, just by prescriptive easement. We're having them dedicate, their half of the full 60-foot right of way.
This road to the bottom is 127.
That's 127.
This is listed as a final plat?
That's all we have these days.
Okay, that's right, there's the new, that's right.
One-stop shopping.
And if we don't take action, then it automatically approves within 30 days.
If we don't take any action.
Right.
If we reject it, they have an opportunity to resubmit.
Right.
I move to approve the plat for Layson subdivision.
Second.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 17 by Commissioner Mallett, seconded by Commissioner Dobianski. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 18, consideration and possible approval of engineering services agreement with HDR Engineering for the 2016 GLO CDBG grant. What is that oil out today? Is it CBD oil?
Yeah, CBD.
Okay, I just want to make sure I state this correctly. CDBG grant project. Okay, attachment number 18.
This is the engineering services agreement for the 2016 GLO grant project from GLO related to the 2016 floods. This includes, among other things, the Blackberry area that we've talked about before.
Right.
Selection committee recommended HDR Engineering for negotiations. As I have mentioned before, just for disclosure, HDR is the company I came from, but they were selected by the committee. We have gone through the negotiations, and they have submitted a contract scope that meets the GLO's criteria for engineering fees. GLO limits what you can pay in the way of engineering fees on these contracts, and they have agreed to abide by that. The county attorney has had an opportunity to look at the documents, but I will tell you it is 98% standard GLO, with just a few revisions that HDR's attorneys requested. Just the main issue there being they have some special language they like to use when they're dealing with floodplains and related structures because of liability associated with that. We did run the changes to the contract through GrantWorks, and they came back and said they did not think that GLO would have any issues with those changes. So we are recommending it be approved. The overall contract amount is $200,000. That's what GLO sets a 10% engineering services limit. And as you recall, this is a $2 million grant that we've received. Any questions? Dwayne Barrett from HDR is here. If you have hard questions, I'll throw him to the wolves. If they're easy ones, I'll try to take them.
And this is one of the areas is the Blackberry area where we're raising several of the roads.
Blackberry, 206, 206A, 207, and 313, that area. County Road 320, County Road 185, and the area at the intersection of Clark and Albin. Those are the project areas that were included in the application.
Do these roads currently have hot mix?
Some of them do. Clark and Albin, Clark has hot mix, Albin does not. Most of the rest of them do not.
So does this include, am I reading that correctly when it says that it will, like 206 will have some hot mix?
If budget allows, we're going to try to pave the portions of these roads that are subject to flooding to make them more durable. If they do go underwater in the future, ideally with the drainage improvements, that won't happen except in extreme events, whereas it happens pretty frequently right now. But part of the process would be to harden those roads by paving them, just the portions that are subject to repetitive flooding.
And I would just point out, this is just the engineering services contract, so they're gonna engineer it, but the construction is yet to come and may or may not get to all of these things.
Yeah, you'll see in a construction contract, probably late this year. This is for the design services. Include surveying and the geotechnical investigation that goes along with the project also.
I just didn't want anybody who watched the video or is here to believe that construction was about to begin and that it was certain that all of these things would be included.
But that does lead to the question, how long is it gonna take HDR to get their data so then we can go to construction?
They have submitted a schedule. I believe it's included in the documents we're sending in your packet.
I didn't recall seeing it.
Page 5, Judge.
It's basically, they will be ready, the design completion will be September of this year. And then there's, you go through bidding, and construction is tentatively scheduled to start in December of this year. And then we have to October of 2021 under the grant to complete the construction. So basically there'll be a year, close to a year for construction time after the design's complete.
Is there a motion?
If there are no further questions, I'd like to make the motion that we approve the engineering services agreement with HDR Engineering for the 2016 GLO CDBG grant project.
Second.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 18 by Commissioner Walker, seconded by Commissioner Dobianski. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Walker, agenda item number 19, consideration and possible approval of a water line installation permit for Wixon Creek SUD on Albert Drive. See attachment number 19.
This is a standard water line installation for a service connection for new home. Albert Drive is located in the King Oak subdivision. The crossing will be bored as required by the county's standards. We are recommending that this permit be approved.
I move to approve the water line installation permit for Wixon Creek SUD on Alberta Drive.
Second.
Is it Alberta or Albert?
Alberta Drive, I'm sorry.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 19 by Commissioner Mallett, seconded by Commissioner Dobianski. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Our road and bridge report, please, sir.
Crews are continuing to do what we can through the damp weather. We spent a lot of time picking up down trees after the last storm. We had 10 or 12 roads that had trees down, probably 30 trees that we had to clean up. Some very large trees, particularly the Beedice area got hit. The north end of the county definitely got it the worst this time. Elsewhere, we're doing the kind of things we can do with the wet weather. Pothole patching, culvert replacements, those kind of things. Drainage work is continuing, again, when it's not too wet, to work in the ditches. On the new maintenance barn project, the slab for the parking area has been poured and the fuel containment. And I expect to see the steel delivered and begin erection sometime the first week or so of February. So that's moving along. And then elsewhere, Fuqua Construction has started work on the replacement of the County Road 202 bridge, which is being done under a 2015 GLO grant. They are just doing site preparation primarily. They did start the bore for the new water line installation yesterday. They hope to have that finished this week. And then as soon as the utility companies are done moving cables, they'll start putting in the temporary bypass. So that's coming along on schedule. Any questions?
Thank you.
I have a comment to add to the road bridge report. I talked to Hunter Lerman, who is project manager on 249 last Monday, and he gave me the information that 249 will be finished sometime this summer, 21488, and opened up 21488. And he said in December of this year, they should have it finished to 1774, opened up and in operation. They have opened a little portion of it down north of Tom Ball. I was down there Saturday. They do have a new portion of that open. And on the part from 1774 to 105, he said the completion date will be 2023 on that. They have started on 4 of the 17 bridges that they have to build in that particular section. So that's kind of an update on 249.
So the part up to 1774 is the Montgomery portion?
Yes. And part of that's in Grimes County from the Crown Ranch subdivision to 1774. And that should, he said it should be open by hopefully in December of this year. And the Plantersville intersection work has begun there again.
We're moving dirt around anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is it? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We will now go to agenda item number 20, discuss and take action to assign construction management responsibilities for the new Justice and Business Center being constructed by Collier Construction. It is expected that the court will conduct a closed session as authorized by the Texas Government Code 551.074 personnel matters. Mr. Foltz, if you got a recommendation on how we should proceed, because we haven't designated who or either what company or what person is going to take this position.
Unless there's something that you're concerned may give away the county's position or may jeopardize, may disclose some issues about specific personnel that you would rather not disclose in open session, I would suggest having the conversation in open session. Because the personnel matters is usually about the assignment or the duties or the problems or the good things about a specific employee or position. If you don't have that at this moment, I don't know that you want to close it for that purpose.
I don't think we have that at this moment.
In other words, the purpose of having that closed session is so that you can discuss the good and the bad of an employee without it being an open session. If you're not talking about the good and bad of a specific employee or department head or even elected official, seems to me that not exactly why you want to close, why you close a session under personnel matter.
Well, Judge, I think in the last meeting that there was some discussion about the potential for this particular position to be a current county employee. So to that extent, I mean, I believe that whether we go into closed session or not, I think there's going to probably be some discussion on that particular employee with regard to this. I would suspect. I mean, we did reset it to do
Correct.
some investigations on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. I certainly know that there's a discussion about whether Mr. Peeler would be in that position. I don't think that's any secret. But what I'm saying is, typically you close it so you're not telling the world, Mr. Peeler, you did a crappy job. Mr. Peeler, you stink. Mr. Peeler, that's the reason that you usually have the right to close the session, is because of discussion of personnel matters. It's not just because you might talk about some personnel issue generally applying to personnel. In fact, the personnel section 551074 gives that specific person the opportunity to demand the session be open. If you don't have a person you're talking about, you got to scratch your head and say, are we closing it for the reason that's contemplated by personnel matters? If you're talking about how to handle these things, I don't understand really why it wouldn't be an open session. I don't understand why it wouldn't be something for the world to see you all deliberate about.
Sure.
If you want to say, Mr. Peeler, you stink, well, then you can close it and talk about that.
So we could actually leave it up to Mr. Peeler, let him decide.
It doesn't matter to me, Judge.
Then we'll have an open discussion. On agenda item number 20, and I'll lead the discussion, the issue has come before us. We have a project that everybody knows about. It's our new Justice Business Center. And the discussion has been around, do we hire an outside firm to be the project manager or project assistance for that project? Or do we use an internal resource? And that internal resource has been identified as Mr. Peeler. Al Peeler, who is our maintenance manager, department head of that area. The discussion is, or part of the discussion is, Mr. Peeler qualified to handle this as a project manager? Two, can he do his job duties that we expect him to do with additional duties that might be assigned in this position? Or do we feel like that would be burdensome to one individual and we'd be better to go to an outside firm to be the project manager for this new construction? That being the case, we do have a submittal from Vanner, about $192,000, although that kind of menu of project can be picked at cafeteria style, so it can be brought down to less than 50,000. And the reason for bringing it down below 50,000 is then it doesn't have to go out for bid. But Vanner might not be the best choice in this situation. If we decided not to go with an employee, we wanted to go with an outside firm, then potentially we would need to post it and go through the bid process. Is that a fair opening statement?
Sure, and let me just clarify if I might. If the court is inclined to use someone internally, and let's just say, generally speaking, then you could go into closed session to talk with Mr. Peeler specifically about duties and his assignment and pay, and all of those
Right.
things. But I think you need to cross the first threshold of, do you want to, generally speaking, do you want to do that? I know it's tied together. It's almost impossible to untie those.
Right.
Because it's specific to Mr. Peeler, but I think you need to cross that first threshold before I would feel comfortable saying closed session is appropriate.
So I'm gonna further state that after reviewing the Vanner proposal and after reviewing this situation with Mr. Peeler, at this point, I'm in favor of, between the skills of Mr. Peeler and the skills that we have on the court with Chad Mallett, engineering degree, yours is civil, yours is industrial. I would like the county to take benefit of those resources that we currently have. And again, I'm appreciative of the work that Vanner has done, because when we asked for a peer review, they met our need, and they met our need very well.
Well, Judge, I think I spoke to the issue in the last meeting, and I'm in agreement with what you just described. I mean, I believe that it would be in very good interest for Al Peeler to be involved as the project manager of this project, because there are other resources that he can tap into, such as Commissioner Mallett's qualifications, as well as Mr. Walker, if need be.
True.
That would, could deal with some of the technical civil aspects, but Mr. Peeler is well versed in building and maintenance. He's done project management before. He's done it. He's doing it right now for the courthouse. And to be quite honest, because we haven't designated who that person is going to be, Collier has been approaching Mr. Peeler to have discussions about things that need to be taken care of thus far.
Right now.
To the point of even having a conference call yesterday, which, there was, they need somebody that they can go to have these questions answered. And one of the advantages of having Mr. Peeler take that position, if he's inclined to do so, is that he's here every day. He can be out there every day. He's already developed the relationships, or has started to nurture those relationships that, based on my experience in the at least the conference call yesterday, it has been very beneficial. So, that being said, in addition to some of the things that I brought up last time, I believe that it would not in any way hinder the process of the project, nor would it be a detriment to Grimes County in any way to have Mr. Peeler assigned the project management day-to-day duties for the court and for the taxpayers.
So one more time, Mr. Fultz, procedurally, if we get a motion and a second to put Mr. Peeler in this position, then we vote on that, and then we could go in closed session to discuss the final details, salary and things of that sort.
If you felt it appropriate to close the session, it's all going to be public information.
Right.
I was understanding it was going to be a discussion between Vanner and between using Mr. Peeler. And if that was the discussion, I'm not sure I felt entirely comfortable with closing the session to discuss personnel matters when some of the discussion is a contract with Vanner, which is not a personnel matter.
Right.
So that's my reluctance to say close it before you make that determination. If you make the determination, you're going to go internally and you're going to use Mr. Peeler, then you could close it. Just because you can doesn't mean you have to. It's up to you. If there's something that you prefer to have the discussion about that's closed or that needs to be deliberated between the five of you in a closed session, I wouldn't know that, and if it's appropriate, then certainly you can make that call. But you could do it all in open session, then there'd be no worry.
Well, Mr. Peeler doesn't seem to have any objection to it being open session. Commissioner Walker?
I do have a question pertaining to if we decided that Mr. Peeler is the direction that we want to go, is it fair to discuss on Mr. Peeler's behalf the scope of work, the duties assigned?
Absolutely. And I think the agenda item's broad enough to get you there.
Okay. Would those things be then in public, or did we go to a closed session?
Once if you're going to decide that you want to make this assignment to him, any of the discussion about the duties would be appropriate for closed session. But again, it would be subject to Mr. Peeler saying, I want it open. It'd be subject to the court. This is your court. There's some times where you can say, let's just take it out of the context of personnel matters. It's legal advice from your attorney. Well, there's sometimes where we close it, where we believe it's appropriate to keep from our adversaries, let's say, so that they don't have that information. There are many times you guys can't shut me up, and I'm giving legal advice, and it's an open session. So you don't have to go into closed session just because you can. If you feel it appropriate, you certainly can, but I wouldn't do it until you made the determination that he's going to take that assignment. And you can do as many motions and seconds and votes on one particular item as you want to.
Now, does this agenda item cover us then, once a decision is made, the direction we're going to go? Does that cover us going into a closed session at this particular time, with that particular time?
Yes, ma'am.
I would not be opposed to going into closed session. I believe Mr. Peeler has to accept the position, and if he does so, the court has not negotiated the salary or benefit package to that. That would be appropriate to discuss with him in closed session, would it not? And if he rejects that, then we start from square one.
I think that's would be appropriate for a closed session and would be covered by the broad language of the agenda item.
Okay, thank you.
So Commissioner Cox, you want to pick up from where you left off last, Commissioners?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to assign the construction management responsibilities for the new justice system, new Justice and Business Center being constructed by Collier Construction. I don't believe that there's any additional need to make a motion to add to the motion to go into closed session, do you?
No.
Okay.
No, but did you say to assign those to Mr. Peeler? I didn't hear that.
I did say that. I thought I said that.
At
least in my head I said that. I didn't? Okay. Then let me amend that to approve.
Well, since you're making the motion, why don't you just start over?
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
I'd like to make a motion to assign Al Peeler as the construction management responsibilities for the new Justice and Business Center being constructed by Collier Construction.
Second motion.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 20 by Commissioner Cox, seconded by Commissioner Dobianski. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So, Mr. Peeler, you are, at least at this point, going to be given the duties and responsibilities of the new Business and Justice Center. We now need to talk about duties and responsibilities as a project manager and determine an appropriate salary for that.
Judge, could I make a...
You may.
You have a couple of options, but one option is to go into closed session now. One is to go to the other agenda items to be done with that agenda and come back to that portion of it. But I need you to read the entire agenda item before you go into closed session. You have to announce the section under which you intend to close, and because you previously read it, there was some discussion and now in action. I would prefer that you read it again.
Okay.
Whether you do it now or whether you do it after you take up the other item.
In consideration of those in the audience that might not come back after, if we do go to executive, so we're going to, I don't know what the appropriate language is, but we'll recess from agenda item number 20.
You're going to come back to it.
Come back to 20 in a moment. Agenda item number 21, consider and take action in accordance with Texas Government Code Section 2269.058 to contract for construction materials, engineering, testing, and inspection services, and the verification testing services necessary for the acceptance of the Grimes County Center facility.
Well, the building committee met and we looked over the statement of qualifications for 6 firms, I believe. And we have the top 3 recommended. Number 1 is Gessner Engineering, number 2 was Terracon, and number 3 was Earth Engineering, Inc.
Okay. And Gessner was the recommendation?
Yes. They were also the firm that actually did the soils testing out there
originally
and did the original.
Okay. So Commissioner Mallett and Commissioner Cox, since y'all are the building committee for the court, any thoughts or comments? Your recommendation is to go with Gessner?
Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
Anybody want to make a motion on that?
Yeah, I move to contract for construction materials, engineering and testing and inspection services with Gessner Engineering for the Grimes County Justice Center facility.
Second.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 21 by Commissioner Mallett, seconded by Commissioner Dobianski. All in favor to assign this contract to Gessner Engineering. Is there any further discussion?
Judge, if I may ask one question.
Certainly.
Harry Walker, County Engineer. Is the contract for construction materials testing and inspection, or would that include building inspection services relative to the building codes?
Yes.
So they do code compliance inspections?
No, just strictly materials
That's-
testing.
That's to be discussed in the contract.
Is your question answered?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is strictly for construction material, engineering, testing, and inspection?
Mhm.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Okay. That's all right, go ahead. Question?
Question you were asking was about building inspection, building codes inspection. You're saying that's gonna be discussed in a later.
Right, because Collier has spoke with me and Chad, and that is something that usually is discussed in the contract period. Not just, that's another service.
Okay, but not this particular contract.
During that contract period. We haven't, that's a request for qualification.
Okay.
We haven't even got into the contract period with it.
All right, thank you.
And Commissioner, if I could help, the government code requires, and the agenda item contains the language that is required of the contractor with whom you're going to contract. Doesn't limit it to just that, but that's
Okay.
what essentially they're going to begin negotiations on, are those
Okay.
services. And pursuant to request for qualifications, you try to negotiate with the most qualified and then go down the list. So
Okay.
I put that language in there specifically because those things are required. It doesn't mean that there might not be additional things that those folks could provide.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for asking that question. With that, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye, opposed? Motion does carry. Agenda item number 22, consider and take action regarding the burn ban and authorize the county judge as signatory. I think most of us got wet on the way in, then the ground is becoming a bit more moist. So I would say leave it as is, no action. Is there agreement? All right. And then 23, receive an update on the strategic plan, and I would suggest no action on that because we have a workshop scheduled immediately after adjournment of this Commissioners Court meeting. Agreed? Okay. Going back to agenda item number 20, discuss and take action to assign the construction management responsibilities for the new Justice and Business Center being constructed by Collier Construction. It is expected that the court will conduct a closed session as authorized by the Texas Government Code 551.074, personnel matters. So we are going to go into closed session. I would ask that Mary Nichols remain, and Mr. Foltz, if you would remain.
If you need me, I'm happy to stay.
And it's still the same date of 1/22/2020. We are on agenda item number 20. And that's discuss and take action to assign construction management responsibilities for the new Justice and Business Center being constructed by Collier Construction. We have assigned Al Peeler to that project manager position.
You did that in previous motion and.
Right.
It's
So
not
that
in
was-
closed session, you didn't do that. Just to be clear.
Yes, in a previous motion.
Okay, we're now ready to discuss a stipend compensation for these increased duties and responsibilities of this project management. Is there a motion?
Judge, I'd like to make a motion in conjunction with the previously discussed agenda item regarding Al Peeler as the construction manager, that he be compensated at the rate of $1,425 a month and a stipend to continue through the conclusion of the Justice and Business Center, and that we also change his employment classification from non-exempt to exempt status.
Second.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item as stated by Commissioner Cox. There's a second by Commissioner Mallett. Is there further discussion?
Starting when?
Effective immediately, Judge.
How about the next pay period?
Well, that started Monday of this
Okay,
week.
we can get it, we can do the business today and get it in that.
Mhm.
Okay. So Monday is 21,
20.
19?
No,
20.
This is 22, 21, 20, okay. Is that acceptable to your motion?
What,
Effective date of 1/20/2020?
That would have been this past Monday.
Oh, you're going backwards.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's gonna play into the status of the
well, he's
exempt
already
status.
been working with them.
Yeah, I understand that, but he's done that as an hourly employee. Now we're moving in, or at least the motion is to move him from hourly to exempt.
It's a non-issue with the incumbent?
It's not an issue with me.
Okay. So we'll make the effective date, if I can get it all taken care of through payroll, for 1/20/22. Okay, 2020, good grief.
1/20.
1/20/2020. There is a second. Is there further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Peeler. You have your work cut out for you.
Yeah.
And we're grateful to have you on staff to take care of that for us.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
That would be agenda item number 24. There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 24 to adjourn by Commissioner Mallett, second by Commissioner Dobianski. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.